Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Pint365. I don't have any nice intro shots to show you today because what we're looking at is effectively some beer in a bag in a generic cardboard box, so there's no nice visual to go along with this, but you will notice we've got a sign. There's a bit of a backstory behind the acquisition of this beer tap. Now you can't just go and buy your own custom bit. That's me hitting the tray. Let's just ignore that happened. You can easily go and buy your own custom beer tap thing quite easily, but I had a bit of a faff with this one and also ended up with a beer mat and some spares, let's say. I'm filming this about half an hour before I'm going to start my Friday live stream, which you'll see before you see this. So the full story about the somewhat kerfuffle around that and some more information on this and the beer in that, because I'm going to be drinking it all night. I'll put a link up there if you want to go and watch the whole thing. But right now is all about Shipstones Original Best Bitter. Shipstones are a Nottingham brewery, probably one of the oldest Nottingham breweries, like 1890 something. I want to say 1895, but I'm not entirely sure that's correct. But they've got a good legacy, and their original best bitter is pretty well renowned. I've got a whole polypin of that 10 litre polypin connected to this. I've not had any yet, so let's enjoy that together, shall we? So this is just a review of Shipstones Original on the Pint365 unit. It's the bag's been cooled in the fridge for about 30 hours now. My fridge downstairs is pretty fierce, and given that it's a best bitter, that should keep it cold enough all night long, really, even though it's kind of warm in here. So let's crack on with it. I'm going to go with the kind of Black Isle stubby, modern-ish pint glass. It's still kind of a proper best bitter glass. Something about this glass shape, it never washes quite right. There's nothing on the inside, but the outside always gets some marks on it. It's really annoying. None of my other glasses do it. I have 3 in this style, and they're all bad for it. Right, let's get pouring. Now I'm using the most fine sparkler on this. I don't know if it's the right one for this beer, so if it's a bit overly foamy or whatever, then that's probably the reason why. But we're looking okay at the minute, I have to say. That is so satisfying. Right. That, ladies and gents, is a pint. A proper pint poured in my own house, which I've still not quite come to terms with that is a thing. Obviously, I mainly bought this for my home brew, and I've only had kind of one session with it with anything else so far, so it's still kind of a new toy. So this beer, I mean, the conditioning on it, you can see it's got a properly good head on there. You're going to come into focus, there we go. It's got a proper good head. It's a bit murky, but to be honest, I think this beer often is. I suspect it looks a little more cloudy and hazy on here than it would do in a pub, but as I say, this is right at the start of the keg, so there's no reason to think that this won't change a bit as we get through it. Aroma-wise, proper, just old school boozer smell in that best bitter. It's got some light fruity notes, some caramel, some sweet toffee vibes, but overall there's no getting away from the fact that this is just beer, right? And I know it seems like a cop-out, I've said it a few times, but honestly, oh, that's so appealing. Right, let's get into it. Cheers. Oh yes. Oh, I've had a few things on this tap so far. I think I've only reviewed one of them, but this is better than both that I've had by some margin. That has got such flavour. Oh, it's so well balanced. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about first. It's got malt base, it's a bit sweet, it's got real bitterness, but not over the top. It's just kind of cleans the tongue bitterness at the end. And it's quintessentially Nottingham beer, that is. It really is. I'm surprised how much better that is than the other ones I've tried, which is a bit of a nod to Shipstones more than anything else, because this hasn't changed, and in fact I should have cleaned it before I did. So the fact that this tastes brilliant really is. I was thinking, I have cleaned it since, by the way. It's not, you know, this has not got any old grime in it. It's just I should have cleaned it a few weeks before I actually did, but it's fine now. It's fine. So top to bottom taste test. Initially a bit sweet, it's prickling a bit on the front of the tongue, but there's not very heavily carbonated, it's just light, nice, Second, you get a bit of a lick of kind of that caramel toffee. It's subtle, it's still beer, it's just a little nod, a little tip to that kind of sensation. Then you get the swallow, the sweetness ramps up a little bit again, and then just as you think, oh, this is actually quite sweet, bitterness takes over the tongue. Front to back, left to right, it's a complete clean sweep. That's hard to say, and I definitely didn't butcher that 4 times before we got it right. And you know, just it's uniform all the way across. And then the aftertaste is a little sweet, not so much caramel, it's just a little sweet, kind of a little bit fruity, a little bit floral, but not massive in any way. It's a subtle beer. I mean, it's generic beer. Let's be frank, as in it doesn't have any other massive influences. It is literally just beer. It's a best bitter, but my word, it's a good one. That really is cracking. Now, I ordered this box, which you can't see because it's just a big box on the floor. It doesn't have anything on it. If I can find a picture of the same box, I'm going to pop it on the screen over there. Now, can you see it? That's what it looks like. There's nothing to show. But I ordered that from Shipstones directly because they're a Nottingham brewery. They're only 3 miles away, something, and they delivered it within a little over 24 hours. I ordered it midday on Wednesday. It was delivered by 3:30, maybe 3 o'clock on Thursday, and now I know that I can get that service. I'm gonna enjoy it, and it was 35 quid for the 10 litres, which, if you extrapolate that down, really isn't all that bad. Now there's some breweries nearby charging 25 quid for a 5 litre mini cask, which doesn't play ball with this. So in comparison, yeah, it's a pretty good bargain. It is only 3.8%, but when I'm drinking off this, we're having a session. It needs, you know, we can't drink 6%ers on that, as we found out a few weeks ago. So, yeah, you know, perfect strength, and might be a bit hazy still, but the conditioning on that is absolutely top notch. Oh. Right, I better go feed my dogs and get on the live. So that's all I have to say about it. Any questions about the 365 unit or about Shipstones beer, whatever, any recommendations, feel free to pop them in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already subscribed, if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.